This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a blessed and wonderful Sunday. And in the news this morning for April 9, 2023, compromised Hillsbrook's bridge in Hanover collapses. The Hillsbrook Bridge in the constituency of Hanover Eastern, which was heavily compromised by heavy rainfall earlier last year, has collapsed. The bridge, which serves the communities of Flower Hill, Woodsville, and Hillsbrook, finally gave way at around 1 p.m. Saturday, leaving these and other communities partially cut off. President of the Woodsville Community Development Committee, Sasha Gay Fraser, told the news that apart from the schools and the popular tourist attraction Mayfield Falls being impacted by the collapsed bridge, the elderly are of concern. We have so many elderly persons living in the area that traverse the route to get medical care. What is going to happen if somebody gets sick or pregnant mothers that utilize that route? What is going to happen now? They are cut away from the rest of Jamaica, you have to say, stated Fraser. Last April, the news reported that the National Works Agency had recommended that the road be closed. The Hanover Municipal Corporation took action to have this done, but their efforts were averted by residents who claimed that the bridge was the only way out of the community. Fraser said the bypass road cascade to Hillsbrook is currently in a deplorable condition, while a section of the road has eaten away and is on the verge of collapsing. Not even donkeys can walk on that road. It is totally impossible, and there is a section of that road that has been eaten away. There is a section there that probably small vehicles can pass because half of the gully bank has eaten away into the river, argued Fraser. There needs to be some attention, and that is a ridiculous road too. I would not advise anybody to drive on that road at night. It is dangerous, it is a lonely road, added Fraser. UK urges government to meet with unions on pay structure for public sector workers. The Union of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees is urging the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service to meet with the unions representing public sector employees in order to resolve the concerns raised by the groups about the new pay structure. The Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions has accused the Ministry of breaching the heads of agreement under the Compensation Review Program following holes of protest by public sector employees. John Levy, General Secretary of UK's, warned during an interview with the news that the Finance Ministry should not ignore the concerns raised by the workers.
Somebody needs to sit down and pay attention to some details and make sure that there's a mechanism in place to attend to these issues and these details and these errors and this lack of information. It can't be just left to the regular channel and the regular team of persons at the ministry to deal with it. Or it is going to have further delays and workers are going to become frustrated even more. And as we speak, I'm still getting calls from people who have not yet gotten some of the compensation that the ministry had agreed. I'm not sure. Some of them that work through, for instance, the regional offices of some entities, the Ministry of Education. Those entities are still, some of the people in those entities have still not been paid. So, there are a number of issues out there still to be resolved, but there can be a mechanism set up to deal with them which needs to be activated.
Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark recently disclosed that the government had reached agreement with 99% of the representative groups from the Compensation Review Program during the 2022-2023 financial year, which ended last Friday. Dr. Clark said that the payout ratio for the groups with whom an agreement was reached is approximately 99.7%. He said allocations were not paid out to two groups as they signed at the end of March. Families still hurting 2 decades after patriarchs were killed in controversial police shooting. 20 years later, the daughters of David Backus and Cecil Brown are still hurting from the pain of losing their fathers who were killed in a controversial police shooting. They revealed that the ache is even deeper, knowing that the cops who were arrested and charged for allegedly killing their family patriarchs were set free of the charges. They have not been able to move on from the incident, they say. On October 25, 2003, David Backus, a 63-year-old taxi operator at the time, was shot and killed along with his 66-year-old passenger Cecil Brown reportedly in a crossfire between the police and the gunmen inside their flankers St. James community while heading out to work. The initial police report stated that the elderly men were killed in a shootout with the police and that 2 handguns were retrieved from Bacchus's car. However, irate flankers residents disputed this claim and insisted that their neighbors were killed in cold blood. A fiery protest ensued with the blocking of the major roadway leading into Montego Bay, as residents in that under-resourced community set fire to downed trees and old tires, hurling missiles at police personnel who attempted to clear the blocked road. The police hierarchy later altered its version of the shooting and instead reported that about 3:30 a.m. on October 25, 2003, Bacchus and Brown were shot in the crossfire with armed men during a police operation in the community when they attempted to apprehend Christopher Hyman, who was wanted for murder. Last week, Yvonne Bacchus, the first of 3 children for her parents, told the news that the incident that ended her father's life still lingers even after so many years. It still feels like yesterday. It is not something that is easily forgotten, Bacchus shared. And as I move across the community, there are persons who constantly remind you of the incident in which my father was killed, so it is not something that you can forget so easily. She said her father, who worked as a taxi operator, was a good man and was very well known in the community. It is very hard to get over that situation. Yes, we try to move on, but it is not so easy to forget your father because he was a good father, so you can't dash him out of the picture or forget about him just like that, Yvonne said. I know the type of dad that I had, and I know the type of grandfather that he would have been to his grandchildren, she continued. Teresa Brown, the only child for her parents, Lillian and Cecil Brown, shared that she and her mother, who is now very ill, have been grappling with the loneliness that has filled the place left by the controversial death of her father, Cecil. In an interview with the news, she noted that living without the company of her father has been challenging, especially for her mother. It is not easy because my father was a provider for his wife. It has been rough, but we have managed to cope thus far, said Teresa. It is not like he was sick and then died. The police killed him. We can't get over that. It is very painful even today. She added, sometimes when we remember the things he used to do for us, it is very painful knowing he is not around to do them anymore. 4 police officers, including a female, were arrested and charged with murder for the deaths of Bacchus and Brown, but were freed in 2006 after a 12-member jury returned a not guilty verdict. Still astonished over the not guilty verdict handed down 17 years ago, Yvonne said, I can't come to the conclusion that they walked free. I was there in the courthouse and I saw them walk free. It is not like somebody told me about it. I was there. I am still wondering why they could murder my father like that and then walk free. Yvonne, who has been the bedrock for her mother, Jennifer Bacchus, and her 2 younger brothers over these years, revealed that their pain could be less piercing if the justice system here was good. It could not give me back a father, but I would feel much better knowing that justice is served if the police officers who killed my father were convicted and paid the price for their actions. The Bacchus family later filed a lawsuit against the state claiming wrongful death and was awarded the sum of $4.5 million. The government also assisted in the funeral arrangements for the 2 senior citizens. Although the money helped Geneva to live a better life, she did not get over losing her husband. I understand that they tried to do something, but that money can't heal our wounds. It was a drop in the bucket that just allowed my mother to live a little life, knowing that her husband was no longer there to provide and to care for her, Yvonne stated. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.